job's done.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a special little episode of the movie Backlot podcast, where we are going to spoil Captain America: Winter Soldier. We are going to talk about all the in and outs of what it means for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what it means for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and we're going to talk about every little thing that we saw and loved or hated about the Captain America movie. So today I'm joined by Alexander from the Movie Backlot podcast. What's up,
America! Oh, wrong movie.
And I'm also joined by Jessica, who you guys know from the Comic Crossovers podcast.
Hi.
All right, so I've never done a spoiler podcast, so I don't know how we're going to even start this thing. So I'm just going to say, what did you guys all think of the movie? I guess we'll start off there. What if you guys hated it, loved it? We can start with
I
Alexander.
think my opening words pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
There's someone out there who hated it, though. I think
there
they must have
probably
watched
is.
it.
Yeah,
We could probably find somebody. I mean, any Marvel haters or DC fanboys are gonna hardcore not love it.
Well, we know one who's
We know one that's automatic you're gonna hate it.
whose name
We won't mention him by name.
whose name I'm not going to mention, but in a Facebook post long before the movie came out, he did say he was excited to see this movie.
Yeah, he was.
And then like I see a post where he shares an article saying we're advising people whether to see Captain America in 2D or 3D, and he says, I'm going to do the service and not pay ticket for either.
I mean, I don't know. We won't mention, but he knows. And he knows we're off doing it.
He knows good and goddamn well who he is.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, we pretty much I loved it. If you saw my review, if you saw Alexander's review, he raved about it as well. Like, we all loved the movie. Hardcore loved. Like, I loved it to the point where I was questioning if it was better than the Avengers. Like, it was that kind of love.
Right.
So I guess we can start by just talking about the story, spoiling the story. So most of you guys already know, if you saw the movie, that the story is about S.H.I.E.L.D. being compromised and things go haywire. I know that Alexander, I believe you read the Winter Soldier storyline as well as Jessica. Both of you guys. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, one of the few comics I've actually read, along with Iron Man Extremis.
Yeah,
and one of the comics I'm reading right now is Infinity Gauntlet. So I'm basically reading some classics, or if you want to call them that.
So, I don't know, Jessica, you read the storyline for that as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a long time ago, and I did a reread closer to the movie.
So, when it comes to the comic book, where does it line? Like, what did you guys think about that? What did you think, Alexander? Where did it fall in line with the source material in the actual movie?
Well, I thought it did the story justice, I thought. I mean, with a film, you gotta take some liberties and changes. Like, we all know Black Widow's not in the book, huh?
No, not at all.
But I thought she wasn't a waste in the movie, since she's Russian property and the Winter Soldier is, well, I guess in the comics he's Russian property, although in the movie he's Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if I had any issues with the movie, and it's more of a nitpick, I do kind of wish there was more Sharon Carter, but I have a feeling that she'll be popping up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe more, and given that Emily Van Camp is a TV actress, she'll probably be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point.
Yeah, she's on the TV show Revenge, right?
Yeah, same network.
Yeah.
Same network.
That was like
how about you, Jess?
that was like my biggest thing too, was that like Sharon, she's so important to just Captain America in general, and I mean that's his love interest, and that's usually his partner with S.H.I.E.L.D. missions, even after the Winter Soldier, and she just was like, she wasn't badly portrayed. It's just they basically replaced her with Black Widow, and it's really such a small thing because obviously for the movie, you know, you've got an established character like Black Widow, so why not use her since you've got her? You're not going to spend the whole movie building up Sharon Carter all the way just to have her be used at the end as like the part she's supposed to be in as she is in the comic book. So it's just really a small thing. I mean, that's like the only thing I really had a problem with in the movie. But I mean,
Um,
I loved Black Widow. I thought she was done so well.
um,
I like Scarlett Johansson in that
Yeah,
part.
I think she actually grew on me, even though her lack of an accent is still funny.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the ending of the movie clearly states that she's gonna have a bigger part. The way that
Mhm.
they're showing all these little things of people's like what's gonna happen to them. And I didn't read this storyline. I read bits and pieces. I've actually read the newer Winter Soldier storyline, not the like brand new one, but the one that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And but it's not Captain America. It's more like the Winter Soldier and her together. So it is interesting to see where like he's gonna go from here. But what do you guys think about what this is gonna do to the cinematic universe in general? I mean, like Shield was compromised. Hydra has been Hydra's been infiltrating Shield for what
Since
was it
the
like
beginning.
70?
Yeah,
Yes,
very beginning.
like so clearly this means that shit's gonna be a lot different. I mean, I got super excited towards the end of the film when it looked like we were gonna sort of get some type of Secret Avengers type of vibe, where Nick Fury's on going off to go find out some other secrets and shit like that.
Oh,
So
so
I'm
is that what Secret Avengers is?
no,
Well,
not
no,
necessarily, but
but
they're
it looks like
undercover.
yeah, it looks like this is gonna be like the movie version of Secret Avengers. The Secret Avengers is basically like a covert task force within Shield.
Mhm.
From they're just like it's usually Captain America, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, and then they fill it in with like random spies and things like that. But it looks like the movies, like Steve is saying, they might that's gonna be like their version of the Secret Avengers. It's gonna be like
Like
Nick
they
Fury.
go in, they have to go in and get out without being unseen. They're not like the Avengers. They go like the regular Avengers go in, whoop ass, everybody
Mm-hmm.
sees it. They go in, get out, and they take care of it without nobody seeing. Which looks
Oh
what
yeah.
that's what Nick Fury's gonna be up to. I don't know if they'll ever make a spinoff with like, Secret Avengers. That might be way in the future. I mean, I know that Feige said that he has like till 2028 already planned out.
Damn,
So
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 38 by the time.
yeah, it's gonna be insane the fact that he's got like so long for this to go. But
Well, I mean, it's at least good to know that they actually have their lineup planned, and that
Yeah.
I mean, whether the movies are good or not, because
mhm,
I know a lot of people opinions on a lot of the movies are hit and miss. They
mhm.
seem to have a definite plan rather than kind of have their like dragging their asses on the ground trying to figure out, well, what do we do with a gun-wielding raccoon? No? They just put it out there.
They just do it. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's what Marvel's been doing so right recently. It's just they're just doing it. They're like, all right, we want this, we're gonna do it if it sticks. And the one thing that I've noticed, like you mentioned the Rocket Raccoon, and that universe is not gonna play into any effect, I think, into this thing at all. I don't
Yeah,
think they're not gonna mention that at all in the movie. I think.
Yeah.
no,
No.
'cause
No.
I
what
think
I
that's gonna be. Oh, what happened?
Because what I noticed when watching the movie twice is that the Winter Soldier is kind of like the centerpiece of the whole Marvel universe. Like
Yeah.
we think
Interesting.
back to all the events and think like, oh, Hydra's somewhat affiliated with this, and they even mention Stephen Strange, who, as we all know, eventually
Mhm.
becomes Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that was interesting too. When
I,
they mentioned
I,
all
I
this stuff.
nearly, I had like a fan moment when that was said. I was like, Doctor Strange!
I thought it
Yeah,
was. What happened?
and then the movie actually seems to play into more of a setup for Age of Ultron because I mean the end credit scene reveals that Hydra is still active and they have the twins or miracles as they're called.
I
Yeah.
want to talk about something about
Yeah,
that.
well, like really quickly, it makes you think. Well, what's Guardians of the Galaxy going to lead into? Is this just some random movie, or is it going to possibly lead into Infinity Gauntlet?
What I
If they
think,
decide to do it.
well, what I think it's gonna be is kind of the way that you have the Young Avengers. I mean, not the Young. You have the regular Avengers. I think that what the, Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna do is open the door for Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange and the fantasy people, and that's gonna be one side of like the Marvel's cinematic universe, and then you're gonna have the more on Earth people, and I think that's what's gonna end up happening is that they're gonna separate them, not separate them to the point where they're not ever bless you, but they're not ever intertwining. But I think that like Captain Marvel, if they ever make her into a movie or a Doctor Strange or any of those people, they're gonna be more into that universe, and then you're gonna have still like Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America as long as he lasts, and all that in this one.
The twins.
Yeah, the twins. And speaking of the twins, I want to mention something. They call them miracles. That's clearly, I think what they're doing is that's what they're going to call them instead of mutants, all people with powers like that. And I think they're going to do that so that they can still use the storyline from the House of M.
Now,
Because it can still be called the House of M because it's miracles instead of mutants. Like
now, what is the House of M story?
I don't think they have the rights to House of M.
What? Just because of the X-Men are part of it?
Like, it's an X-Men story. I don't know if they have the rights to that. House of M, Scarlet Witch basically loses control of herself and goes insane and wipes out all mutants. She first creates this parallel world where everything is her dad, Magneto, and her family are like ruling over the world. And then at the end of all that, when people start remembering what was going on, what their lives actually were, she wipes out all the mutants.
Wow.
And what I'm thinking is, sure, they can't use that because they can't use all the mutants.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking the storyline where she loses control of her power, she goes insane. She makes a world where her and her brother this time are the people that are in charge kind of thing. I don't know. Why else would they call them miracles? Like
I think they're gonna tie into the Tesseract. I think that's going to be the source of their power. I think that's why they showed the Scepter. That's going to be the source of their power. And then I think like the cosmic characters like Guardians of the Galaxy, that they're going to be the way to get more cosmic threats into the Marvel Universe. Because this way, because they're building up to Thanos. So this way, Thanos is going to threaten Earth or something. Instead of just randomly showing up, the Guardians of the Galaxy will be like, hey, listen, they'll be the way to get him to Earth and have it make sense, and then tie all the characters together. But I don't know. I don't see House of M happening because I think that's too heavy on the X-Men for them to even try to do that. I don't even think they could try that.
Well, I mean, you got Miracles also. I think is a more positive sounding name than movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like. They kept my reason was just like they kept it with an M. I mean, they didn't have to keep them with an M. They could have called them the Supernatural or something. They kept it with the word M. They're calling them miracles, and in this storyline, of course, like whatever, they're not born with it because they can't use that because being born with powers will automatically make you a mutant. But what people were saying is that what's going to happen is that you're born with the ability to not die from getting powers. Is what they're supposedly going to say. So if they experiment on you and they give you powers, some people will die, some people won't. They'll call you a miracle because you survived it. So I didn't read the Winter Soldier storyline with Captain America. Is the Winter Soldier in that book a lot? Or is it mostly a mystery throughout the whole thing?
I mean, okay. When I read it, I had already background on Captain America and Bucky, so I was already pretty sure that's who it was going to be. Just because things at that time were adding up to make it seem like it was Bucky. But I mean, he's in it. Like I think the movie did a good job with him and the amount of time he's in it and how much he actually says. Because he is like this enigma the entire story when you're reading it, up until a certain point, and then it's like stuff. There's action scenes with him and Cap, and then it's discovered who he is. The movie left it on more of an ambiguous tone than the comic, though. They didn't. The comic shows for sure that he remembers who he is, and then he basically goes out to try to, after that trade paperback, after that collected version, he basically goes out to try to atone for what he's done. And he cuts his hair, and he looks really different. He tries to fix the things that he's done wrong, but he does remember who he is, but he doesn't want to come back until he feels that it's right. And then that all leads into Civil War, which is where I think all this is headed.
That's in my review when I got super excited and I was saying about where it's headed, where I think it's heading. I'm super excited. The Civil War is it's probably my favorite storyline from the events that cause it, the New Warriors being dumbasses, all the way until the end, except for what the actual end is with Hydra and all. I hated the whole. What they call them, the Skrulls. I hated that. I hated what it turned out to be.
Secret Invasion, yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. I love the storyline of Secret Invasion, but I hated how it was a cop-out to everything. I don't know, Alexander, if you know about the Civil War storyline.
The only thing I know about Civil War is that on one side you got Iron Man, the other side you got Captain America.
Yeah, so
And
the practically the storyline we have here is that Iron Man wants everybody to register and get put into the system so that the government knows where every single superhero villain is in the world. Captain America, as we see in this one, he talks about he doesn't think fear is the way to go. You have to talk about
Yep.
it's freedom. And as we saw in the first Avengers movie, Iron Man and him kind of butt heads already.
right.
And what we know is that Downey's only going to be up to Avengers 3. I mean, Avengers 3, I think. He's got 2 movies left, and they're both the Avengers films. I think it's the next Avengers and this the 3. They signed him for 2 of them. Captain America's got the next 2 Avengers and a third Captain America, and then that's
Yeah.
it. That's how they're planned it. Like, Downey's not making any more Iron Man movies. What happened?
But they signed I think Sebastian Stan. They signed him
He's
for a
got a
lot of
9-year
movies.
he's got like a 9-year deal because
A 9 film deal.
nine
Yeah.
film deal, which is going to include cameos and all that, which is what we were talking about in the podcast, comic podcast, where we were saying what the future's going to hold for him. But in the Civil War, what ends up happening is the mutants, half the mutants side on one side, half the heroes side on one side, half the other ones on the other, which is going to suck because a major part of the Civil War storyline is what Peter Parker does, and that's not going to be part
And
of
it's
it.
not, no, it's just,
Sucks.
it's just sad,
Like Peter
yeah.
Parker is such a big part of what happens in the Civil War, and pretty much he's the guy that starts it all. Like Iron Man uses him as a ploy to get it, not a ploy. He uses him as the reasoning to everything. He makes Peter Parker show to the world who he is.
Wow.
As he takes off the mask and he shows
Mhm.
everybody in the world, so that other heroes can see, wow, if Peter Parker does this, like whatever, and that's how it works in that. Which
True.
and then you also got Wolverine's on Captain America's side. Even though you can see Wolverine's face, he's still with Captain America. And he believes that like it's really split down the middle. And what ends up happening is that Iron Man literally has him and Iron Man and Shield hunt down the heroes that don't do it. Like there's a cool scene with like where some of the young Avengers are running away and they're getting shot down. Like they're getting hunted. It's pretty bad.
I,
And what happened?
I would actually make the argument that, like, from the info you're giving me on Civil War, I'm under the impression that that's not where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is heading, because there
No,
really aren't any.
It's what happens to Captain America at the end, which is
Yeah,
why
which is
people think
why
it's where it's going.
He's
Right.
got 3 movies deal. He got 3 more. What were you saying? Though, keep going with your.
Well, I was like wondering, like, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's really no secret identities. Like no hero.
In this one, yeah, there isn't any. In the movies, at least.
In the films, there's really no hero that has a secret identity. Like Iron Man Tony Stark just goes out and says, "Screw it, I'm Iron Man," and like Captain America is like referenced at points as Captain Rogers.
Yeah,
So
everybody
he's a
knows who
World War
they
II hero.
are. Everybody knows who they are. But the thing is, when it comes to the Civil War, you have to register, and you can't leave cities or states without them knowing. Like wherever you go, they have to know. That's a major part. Is like you can't go anywhere. They have. It's almost like they have to have a tracker on you. Wherever you go, they have to know. You can't go anywhere, which is a major part of it. If I remember it correctly. Another major part of the Civil War storyline is that if most people don't know, at the end of the Civil War storyline, Captain America dies.
Gets killed, yeah.
He gets killed by
Sharon.
Carter. Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
She shoots him in the back and he dies.
Yeah.
That part that's actually another comic I'm trying to pursue. The Death of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd want to
such a
read
great story.
Civil War and then that, but as it goes with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it makes sense that they would head that way because Chris Evans is not signed on for that many movies,
He wants to retire. So.
and after he dies, Bucky becomes the new Captain America, and it lasted for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like when I heard that Sebastian Stan was getting that 9-picture deal, the only thing I thought to myself, that's the segue for him to take over the Shield basically as Captain America when Chris Evans goes away.
Which makes sense, but I don't. It's gonna be interesting because when I was in the theater, right, when Captain America is getting shot in this movie, kids started gasping in my theater, like little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids were like literally like making noises, like they were standing up on their seats and they were like, it was like if it was real to them, it was crazy.
Now that's what I worry about is Captain America to me, Winter Soldier was such a gutsy movie. It was serious. That was not Iron Man 3. That was a serious movie.
I like the Iron Man
That
2, but
movie,
alright.
that movie was making a point.
I will say, like, I'm the guy who likes all the Marvel movies, but if there's one thing I appreciate more about Winter Soldier is that they seem to pull back on the amount of humor.
Which was, to me, a very good thing.
There was some
It
funny
was.
things with Anthony Mackie. That was some funny ass moments with Falcon. I loved it. And
But
it's
it was more
cool.
like Empire Strikes Back moments where there
Mhm.
are
Yeah, you're
humor
right.
bits, but it's more of a breather. After
It's really dark. Actually, one of the scenes, when Captain America jumps out of the elevator window and falls down, it felt like that was like almost ripped out of the panels of Civil War. There's a part in Civil
Really?
War where in Civil War when Captain America is going to Shield to talk with Maria Hill, she literally pulls like 30 guys with guns, and he doesn't want to fight anybody. He's hitting them and stuff, but and it has nothing to do with the Hydra storyline or anything, but it's all about like the identity thing. So I don't know if they'll be able to do that again the way they did here, but it was interesting. One thing I do want to say also is the way that it plays into the TV show Shield. I know that Jessica, you're not watching it, and I gotta say the show started off really bad, but it's getting like with this move, it's getting pretty like it's the Civil. I mean, the Winter Soldier storyline made me get super excited about the future of Shield. Like,
right. I mean, as the guy who like fanboyed all over the show since the beginning, I'll admit, looking back, that it was completely me like being in that fanboy moment because I
Yeah.
look at those older episodes and like they're not the worst thing ever, but they were very underwhelming.
But then you look at the most recent episodes, at least the last 4 or 5, where they're building up to this, and they are really good.
Yeah,
What ends up happening?
In what
What
they
happened?
call the Uprising, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising, they've been getting a lot better, I'll say.
And the thing that I was thinking in my head after I saw like the episode and I watched this, was the show's called Agents of Shield, but not called Shield. So
Yeah, don't confuse the people.
yeah, so they knew this from the beginning. They've known this that this was gonna be the way they were gonna go for a while. Well, people are right now contemplating who's gonna be somebody in this group is on Hydra. Nobody knows who, and it is Joss Whedon, so he will have a twist somewhere where we don't want to expect. People are saying it's Fitz. People don't know. People are saying it's what's Melinda May. I mean, there's a bunch of different people that people think it might be, but like this thing could change the complete tone of the movie. I mean, of the show. Like, it might go really dark. Like,
I'm gonna say, well, I mean, I'm watching. I'm currently in the middle of Buffy, and they're like it's going in some dark routes, which I wouldn't expect. It wouldn't be surprising if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. decides to go down that route too. But in terms of like who could be Hydra, the only person I could really point a finger at is Victoria Hand.
Well, wait, she has. How is she done on the show though? She has to be Hydra.
She just got introduced recently in a couple episodes.
If she's on that show, then she would be the best person to bet your money on being Hydra.
But she's not. The only thing about her is, I mean, like, there's a core group of six people. One of them has to be Hydra. She's not like they got the what's the guy with the S and the guy with the S.
Oh. The guy who the Winter Soldier killed?
Yeah, the Winter Soldier. The guy who got thrown out the car. Sitwell's been in a couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's in this one, and in this episode he leaves. In the most recent episode, he leaves to go to that freighter that gets taken, which is pretty cool. And my thing is that somebody of the core group has to be Hydra, because the way they say is that Hydra's everywhere, and it's literally like half of everybody is Hydra, according to what they were saying in the film. So therefore, we know that it's not Coulson.
Coulson?
Yeah, what if it is Coulson? Holy shit, that'd be crazy.
I would doubt it.
Insane.
I would doubt it because if Fury if Fury went to great lengths to bring Coulson back from the dead, then I really doubt
it would be him.
Yeah, and then we can probably rule out Skye because
she just came aboard that last minute, yeah.
And she was recently promoted to being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. So
she wasn't from the beginning. So it would have to be May,
Ward,
Ward, and
I doubt Fitz and Simmons because they're I don't know. They seem
That's-
too young to really
That's Joss
be too
Whedon though. That's
experienced.
Whedon though. Like he might just make.
I don't know. You guys better. I mean, you guys are watching the show. You better watch out for Victoria Hand. She's as evil
No,
as they
you can tell she's already evil because at the end of the last
Well,
episode, she says kill everybody but Coulson. So
Yeah, she's. Oh man.
and I don't know. It's just
I
don't know,
might
it's
watch it
interesting.
now. I didn't know she was on that show.
She just started recently. Like,
Yeah, she's one of my favorite. She's one of my favorite newer Marvel characters. I think I might watch that because I like her. She's so
Right.
deliciously evil.
Yeah, she was introduced in I think it was episode 6, the one before their quote Thor crossover unquote.
that was alright crossover too. I mean, so let's see. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they're gonna call the twins by their names, or will they call them by their Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, or does Fox own the rights to use those names?
I
don't
think they
know.
only own the fact that they're mutants and Magneto being their father. I don't think the
Yeah.
code names are because they were Avengers, so I don't think the code names are up. You know what? Now that I think about it, their real names might not be what they can use
Oh, you
because
think they can use Paltrow?
Yeah.
'Cause that's
Wanda.
Mary Paltrow?
Yeah, I don't think they can use the real names because that directly has to do with their parentage. So, and those characters are owned by Fox.
See, this is where
So I don't know. I mean,
Alexander.
I could see them not having the rights to the real names, but not Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Well,
I know
I mean, just go ahead.
I know on the movie podcast you mentioned how you just want like Marvel to own all of these things, and it's so sad. It's so sad.
It is.
that
I mean,
it's not gonna happen.
with
so
with
sad,
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in particular, I really am still trying to wrap my head around how those rights work.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the fact that like Fox can't reference the Avengers and
it's
Marvel
insane.
can't reference the X-Men, I just don't understand what exactly was it that made it to where both sides can use these two characters. Huh?
Because
I'm sure it had something to do with the fact that they are Avengers and they had storylines that were involving the Avengers. I'm sure that has something to do with it.
But then my thing is, why won't they be able to use Spider-Man or Wolverine because both of them were Avengers at one point?
No, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
what are the rules?
I think probably because I mean, you guys know comics more than me, but I think it was because like Wolverine was part of the X-Men before.
The original.
Yeah.
Because someone told me that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were Avengers before it was discovered that they were Magneto's children.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, maybe that probably is the lineage. Damn, this sucks. I mean, because now
Scarlet Witch more than anything is an Avenger first, and then mutant character
she ends up
second.
marrying the Vision, which is weird.
Yeah.
He's a robot type of guy, but whatever. They have robot babies.
The Scarlet Witch is not stable.
No, she's not. She's very unstable.
I just want to say that Elizabeth Olsen looks so fucking hot as her, though. I don't know why. I have a thing about
for being as crazy looking. For being as crazy looking as she is.
The girl that can kill me. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Still crazy that those two actors are gonna be husband and wife in Godzilla before we see them as brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a moment at the movie theater though. I went with my sister. She didn't. She's not a comic fan at all. So when we got to that scene and it was like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the prison cells, I was like, "Oh my God, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch!" She's like, "I don't get it." I'm like, "It's Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch."
Yeah, that was
I was so excited about that.
That was it was pretty cool, especially seeing the way that Quicksilver was moving around and how the eyes of Elizabeth Olsen with doing the thing with her hands. I thought that was really cool. Which is like, according to Feige, they're gonna play a major part. He keeps saying they're playing a major part in Ultron, a major part. I don't know that's all he keeps saying, but supposedly they're gonna be like a huge part of what goes wrong in Ultron. And they're already filming, and if we see the filming, Hawkeye is going after them or he's with them for some reason, and which is there was an interview with Feige where they asked him about why Hawkeye wasn't in Captain America Winter Soldier since he is a major part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he was like, that will be answered in Ultron and everybody will understand what happened.
Okay.
So,
on the Wikipedia page for both Days of Future Past and Age of Ultron, and well, there's so much you can know about Wikipedia
Hmm.
or from Wikipedia, but under Age of Ultron, when it lists Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, it also lists their real names,
Mm.
Pietro and Wanda, and then
Does it
for
have their
the
last name?
yes,
Oh, it
Oh,
does.
okay.
and then for the Wikipedia page for Days of Future Past, it just lists Quicksilver, not the real name.
Okay.
Oh, what the
So
hell?
again,
What
these rights make no sense.
again? What are the rules? Like
There
what?
are no
Where do
rules.
you
It's anarchy.
like another thing? Another thing about the rules is can Marvel use Miles Morales as Spider-Man, or is that a no-no?
Oh, I
Like
don't know.
see, what are the rules?
That's a good
Miles
question.
because he's the new Spider-Man.
Who
Do
owns
they
the
own?
ultimate?
Do
Ultimate
they?
Spider-Man, at
Yeah, who
least.
owns the Ultimate Spider-Man? Like
Who
what?
owns the ultimate universe?
Because there's so much things that could happen. Like if they own Wolverine and all these characters, it'll open like okay during Civil War. Again, I keep mentioning that Wolverine's a major part of Captain America's side in that he's
Hmm.
a he's like well not a major part, but he's like right next to him. Luke Cage is right
Mhm.
next to him. This thing is gonna this is like every comic fan's like dream coming true, but with parts taken out because of the fact that the rights are everywhere. But
Yeah.
there's so many ways they can go with this. I mean, what do you guys
Because,
think? What happened?
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So, what do you guys think is gonna happen? Like, with like what's gonna? Somebody was saying that there was an Easter egg in this movie. If you caught it, Tony Stark's tower already had
Oh,
the
the,
A. It had
the
the A
Avengers
on it.
Tower.
Yeah.
The Avengers
You know what?
Tower.
I actually didn't catch that until the second time I saw it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at all until I saw it twice, and I didn't catch it at all
So
until I
I
went.
caught it because I was like right away. I was like, ah, there you go, Avengers
I,
Tower.
I saw that they were showing the sign, but I didn't look at the other. I just knew it was his tower. Like, oh, cool, they're showing his tower. So in the comics, what ends up happening is that Shield is no more. So Shield does not fund the Avengers. Tony Stark does. He ends up funding them wherever they go, their ships, everything. He's their bank.
Well,
So
it seems like at the end of the Avengers, like Nick Fury even says he's not tracking what they're doing, and we see Tony and Pepper setting up like plans to revamp Stark Tower as Avengers Tower. So I
Yeah.
mean, Stark could possibly be funding the Avengers already.
But now here's my thing though with the end of Shield is Shield does eventually get reformed. That Shield is around, but Shield gets reformed with Maria Hill as the leader.
yep, and that's
And
before the Civil War sort of.
yeah, so now my thing is how long, but how many movies will it take until Shield is reformed, and does Kobe Smulders have a big contract with them? Because she's pretty decent, Maria Hill. I mean, I couldn't really complain about. I mean, Maria Hill could not to take light of her being in the part, but Maria Hill could be played by pretty much anybody. There's not that much to her, but
Yeah, she's never
like
had
how
an actual.
long? Yeah, I mean, like how long does it become until Shield gets reformed
Well,
and Maria Hill's back in the lead of it, and then what does that signal for Nick Fury
Well, I
like
mean,
in the movie universe?
pretty much
Yeah,
they can't destroy Shield again for a while. So if she's gonna come back, she has to come back within a couple movies. Shield has to come back within a couple movies at least, just because if by 2028 they already have it set,
Hmm.
they can't destroy it again with the whole Civil War storyline because that would be too soon. Maria Hill does end up taking over for a while, and then what I was hearing is that How I Met Your Mother's over. That's where her contract was. Her contract is done. Marvel doesn't have her signed the way they have signed everybody else signed for multiple movies, though. They sign her as as we need you basis. So people are thinking that she might become a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. next year, the TV show, because of the fact that she's done with How I Met Your Mother. She doesn't have many movies in the works right now.
Well, I mean, for Maria Hill as a character, like unless she pops up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point before Age of Ultron, she's going to be in Age of Ultron next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm so curious about, because Shield will come back. I mean, that's Shield's thing. They don't ever really die. No matter what happens, they don't ever completely die for that long. So, what point in what in what movie will it become, Shield is back and Maria Hill's in charge. And that's if they even want to put Maria Hill in charge, because since this is the cinematic universe, they don't have to. They could theoretically reform Shield and put Nick Fury back in the lead.
What I'm guessing is going to end up happening is that the Shield will be reformed by Captain America 3.
You think so? Yeah.
That would be enough movies in between. You'll have Thor before that. You'll have Avengers 2. You'll have Guardians of the Galaxy. You'll have Ant-Man. Then Cap 3 is coming out in 2016, 2017?
2016, yeah.
2016.
And then Cap 3 would be the reformation of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then in Avengers 3, I would assume Captain America dies.
Although, one thing I gotta say is, since Captain America 3 right now is famous for going head-to-head with Batman Superman, I think just from a critical reception standpoint, we know who the winner's going to be.
That's the interesting part. This movie is doing so well by critics that I honestly believe it's going to surpass whatever the budget they thought they were going to make this weekend. I'm not sure what it's made so far, but supposedly it made $93 million in the first day, including overseas.
It made 10 in the U.S. on Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night it made 10 million just for Thursday night screenings.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the movie twice and it was packed. So I'm assuming this movie's gonna get close to 100 opening weekend from just the U.S. alone.
Yeah, I'm reading on IMDb. It said, IMDb according to it or Box Office Mojo, it says while it probably won't reach 100 million this weekend, it's still on track to easily set a new record for April movies.
Yeah, I mean it's the buzz, and I was sending my review. I don't know if I cut this part out, but I was talking about how it made after watching the movie, you were like, that's why they signed these directors right away. Like that's why they signed them.
Yeah.
The studio saw the movie and they signed them right away, and that's why. Because you saw the movie and you're like, holy shit, the action scenes in this movie are so well done. Like every time Captain America
it's like
somebody, everybody's like, oh, like everybody was just yelling, like, because he was kicking them so, it was so cool. Black Widow doing her flips, like the way that they use Falcon flying around, and you kind of see that the bond that Falcon and Captain America are going to be building, they ultimately become best friends. Yeah, like it was a slow building, but in the comics, they're best friends. Like,
and they did a good job with modernizing Falcon too, because that was a big concern I had. It was like his outfit is stupid in the comics, and he's kind of like he almost feels like he feels like they picked him up out of the 70s and threw him into the Marvel comics, and it didn't work. So I was worried that I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with Falcon? They did a really good job with him, making a veteran who's running like a PTSD focus group, helping people. I thought that was great. And I like how they worked him into the...
Well, in the comics, isn't he telepathic with birds or some weird thing like that?
Yeah, he's weird, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
He gave him those great wings and just the smart military mind that he had. So it was good. It made him good.
Falcon's a character that I didn't mind that they tweaked a little bit to make him more modern.
It worked. No, they had to. Well. They had no choice.
He was too much in the comics.
Right, and I guess it was like force of habit for me, but when I first heard that he was going to be in the movie, I was thinking, oh, well, he's just going to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with that cool set of wings. And I actually, for the sake of the story, am glad that he was not a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He gave them someone. He gave them someone to trust.
It worked for Captain America though too. That's the thing I really liked about this movie is it didn't it really stuck to who Captain America is nowadays. He's not like this S.H.I.E.L.D. weapon, he's not blind to whatever they do. He knows what they're doing wrong, and his whole thing is he defends people. He defends America, not S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think they did a good job with that.
And the really awesome thing about Falcon and him is that in the comics, when you read storylines that involve both of them, they have this like banter between them, and they did a phenomenal job of throwing in the banter and the little jokes here and there. That the way they do in the comics. In the comics, although it's mostly serious, like they do banter, have jokes between themselves, and we saw that here with the whole "on your left" thing, which was really funny.
I was just gonna call it out on your left.
On your left.
It really worked. I mean, the part where he talks to Samuel Jackson, I mean, with Nick Fury, he's like, "I do what he does, but only slower." I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, that was good.
Like they worked their chemistry well, which actually tells me that Anthony Mackie's going to be in at least Cap 3, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. He should have a small role in Avengers, I'm assuming. Some small role. I love the way that nobody knew who the hell he was, and they're like, yo, who's this guy? Like, they kept saying that. Nobody knew who he was, and I don't know, they use him well, and I love Anthony Mackie. I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Speaking of, yeah, he's great, like in the Hurt Locker and stuff.
Yeah, he's just great.
But speaking of people not knowing who people are, did anyone when you guys saw the movie, did anyone in your theater gasp when the Winter Soldier's mask came off?
Yeah.
Really?
I laughed, but I felt a little bad because I was like, well, I have to remember, like I've got all this background of reading comics, like I know who people are. But then it was like I forgot that in the trailers and promotional stuff, they didn't say it was Bucky.
Yeah, they didn't say it. And the way that in my theater, the way it worked was when it happened, like there was a lady in front of me, and she was like, "What?" And then like the guy next to her was like, "It's his best friend." And it was just funny. I was like, "Oh man." But I knew that, like, I knew all that, and I thought it was cool. They kept it pretty secret. You never saw his face. You never knew who he was. But
yeah,
I love the way they kept his star on his arm. I thought.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, and like it wasn't until then when people started gasping that I realized, oh wait, they didn't reveal it, and I just had this in my mind, like I assumed people knew.
Yeah, I did too. I thought.
Well, I guess they didn't reveal it unless you watched that preview for the Winter Soldier that came with the Blu-ray for Thor: The Dark World, because they kind of do reveal some stuff in that one preview. But I guess like it was intended for Marvel fans.
Mm.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were intended. The way that one thing, the way that they were mentioning when the Machine, what the hell was the Machine's name? The Machine was telling them about the Hydra was put in for years. What was his name?
Zola.
Zola.
Yeah, so
we didn't even get into that yet.
Yeah, so the way what they were mentioning was like the way they were like, oh, accidents happen. We made things look like accidents, and they pointed at Tony Stark's father.
Howard Stark.
I was like, holy shit! Like it was a setup. Like the way that they made everything look like an accident, but they actually had a play in the whole thing. That was really cool.
That's what I mean by like this movie's like the centerpiece for all things past and present in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like you go like with every new bit of info that these movies give out, you go back with what happened in past movies and see, okay, well this leads into that.
Alexander, you mentioned that this movie made you appreciate Captain America more, the original movie, and I'm so with you because I believe you said that right? You said that it made you like the previous movies more.
I think so, but I mean, you and I both know that before this came out, you didn't like the first Avenger, and I did.
Yeah, you did like it, but you said that it made you appreciate the way that, like what you just said here about the past and how all the things make sense now more. And this movie made me appreciate the things that happened in the original Captain America movie. Even though I still don't love the movie and it's still lower on my tier of like Marvel movies, it made me appreciate where things were going, how why things were happening a certain way, the way the characters built upon themselves. I thought it worked well for that. I don't think that they're tying everything to all of the Marvel movies so far. Like you saw the guy from Iron Man 2. He appeared in here. I don't know what that guy's name was.
That senator guy.
Everybody kept laughing when they saw him, and I was like, "Why are people laughing at this?" Like when he just showed up, people started laughing. I'm like, "Is it because of the way he looked, or is it because?"
It might have been that, and it also might have been the idea that Tony Stark was just this giant prick to him in Iron Man 2.
What were you saying about the Machine though, Jessica?
Oh, I was so excited that Arnim Zola was in it. I knew Toby Jones was in the movie, but I thought they were gonna show him in a flashback scene. I didn't know they were gonna actually use him the way they did. I thought that was gonna be too comic booky for the movies. Because I thought that was going to be too much for them. And I was like, oh, he's in the computer, yes! I was really excited about that. It was like such a small thing to get excited about, but I was really excited about that.
But they had the little camera on top of it. Like, he's basically a 70s computer.
I loved that so much.
I mean, the very first time we see him in the universe, in the first movie, we see basically his face enlarged through a magnifying glass.
They also did a thing about at the end where I was talking, where I said about like Sharon, like where they show the Sharon Carter, what the hell's her name? Carter?
Sharon Carter.
Yeah, she's shooting at a shooting range, and she's clearly like a badass. She's hitting everything right on target, which I think is opening the door to include her in other movies. But another thing that they did, which I don't know if people caught or people cared, was Brock Rumlow.
Oh. Crossbones?
Crossbones, yeah.
Yeah, Crossbones. I don't know if they called him Brock, whatever. I know he becomes Crossbones later on. But he never died. You saw his burnt body. So they're keeping him open for something. Yeah. Like, that's open for the future.
They don't kill him, and he dies in an outfit similar to Crossbones.
Okay. Because like, I don't know.
I'm sure he'll be a part of Captain America 3 later on, because that's the thing that's going to be important for all these movies. Is not only do they have to feel like they're in the same universe, but and somehow connect to each other, but each of the heroes needs to have their own villain to go against in each of these movies. So you need to introduce somebody like Crossbones, because even though he may not seem like he's that big of a villain, in the grand scheme of things, he's not. But for a Captain America solo movie, he is. He needs to be put together. You know, they have to put this character together and introduce him at least.
And to me, this is another thing that's showing that Captain America is essentially going to die, because Crossbones is the guy that puts Sharon Carter up to kill Captain America.
Yeah.
Like she gets hypnotized or something happens to her, and he's the one that does it.
Yeah.
He's the one that
she's not aware that she's not like, she doesn't just decide one day she's going to kill Captain America.
Yeah,
There's like a whole thing to it.
He does whatever he does to her is what gets her killed. To me, they kept him alive so that when he appears in Captain America 3 or whatever, or Avengers, when he shows up, people are gonna be like, holy shit, whatever. Another big ass shock thing for them. So keeping him alive, keeping Sharon Carter, they want to use both of these people. That's why they kept them alive.
Yeah.
I honestly believe, and I want what to happen is that people I want them to do this in all of their movies. And maybe that's what they've been doing. They've been keeping the door. They're like closing the door only a little bit, but like making sure that something is still open for use later on.
Well, every time they slightly close a door, 10 windows open.
We can go in this many directions, and it just
shows that the people who are making the movies, while they don't adapt things directly from the comic book, that they understand how it's supposed to work. Right. Because even in a comic book, you know, a story arc in a long series ends, but then that opens up for a bunch of different storylines down the road. So it's hit or miss. It's like they're not adapting things the way a really diehard comic fan like myself would ideally like to see them done, but they get what they're supposed to be doing.
I actually wanted to ask you guys a question, right? Would a secret like without Captain America though, like if Nick Fury gets a team that involved Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Falcon, and let's say a couple other new Secret Avengers people, would that work as a film? Would that sell? What do you think? A film that's more espionage, kind of like this film, but doesn't have the box office.
Sell to the mainstream or sell to me, because I'm already signed up for that.
No. I mean like sell enough to make it, because the way I look at it is that you can still have the big blockbuster that is the Avengers, but a movie like Secret Avengers, if they were to make it on the side, that would be very low budget compared to the Avengers movie. And I'm wondering that like. There's way too many characters to keep a big ass Avengers. I mean, introducing Ant-Man, introducing Doctor Strange, Black Panther, all these people in the future. You can't keep making one Avengers movie every 4 years with all these characters. What if you made a Secret Avengers which had the smaller tier team going out and helping Nick Fury?
I can see that, because
I mean, they have it planned out, and I'm hoping that in this plan somewhere, there's the fucking Young Avengers. Somewhere in this plan. Somewhere down the line, Young Avengers appear, Runaways, the teams that I like a lot.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, this movie technically didn't come out in the summer. We're in April.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Because summer usually, thanks to Star Wars, summer for movies always begins.
May. Yeah.
That is interesting.
So we're technically in the springtime. Huh?
So I mean,
But-
if we're looking at like an espionage movie, isn't it? The mainstream people, like regular guy on the street, who doesn't he want to see big stars in movies? He wants the people he likes, right? So you already have Scarlett Johansson.
But they made Hawkeye and Falcon so cool in their little roles.
Mm-hmm.
Can those two guys plus Black Widow with Nick Fury leading the team and introducing somebody, could that make people be like, oh wow, it's Falcon, it's Hawkeye in their own movie?
I think
would that be?
I'd be all over that.
What were you saying?
Yeah, because you got the star power of.
Yeah.
I mean, Samuel Jackson, who works a lot. Huh?
Yeah, he does.
Like he'll take any role, even if it's something as shitty as The Spirit. Huh?
Yeah, I'm getting paid. It's a paycheck.
Yeah. And then Scarlett Johansson is definitely getting a lot more star power, and
Oh yeah.
And Falcon, I mean, I think Falcon and Hawkeye, people like them in their roles. I mean, like, I'm not sure who else. I mean, even if they introduce, even if let's say Winter Soldier isn't in the Avengers 3, what if he's a part of the Secret Avengers?
Yeah, because he's rehabilitated, and that's what he does.
I'm getting myself excited for no reason because this is going to happen, but I'm just saying you can take the small tier team that people don't really know a lot about and make another side movie, and people won't be like, oh, why weren't they in the Avengers? You can be like, oh, well, they were doing this mission while the Avengers thing was happening.
And plus, there are those people who still are wondering themselves, what did Black Widow have to contribute in the Avengers? I mean, we saw what she had to contribute in the Avengers, but when you look at everyone else, you just think of, oh, she's just some
which
with guns. Huh?
Which would make for a Secret Avengers movie to work better because they all don't have powers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Making them all be a part, like Hawkeye. Hawkeye was a guy with arrows. I mean, they had the classic Saturday Night Live skit.
Granted, some really cool arrows.
Yeah, like when I don't know if you guys watched the skit, like the little sketch with
Yeah, I saw it. With Jeremy
where he ran out of arrows and he was like, all right guys, I'm going home. Like, and you're like, what? He's like, I only brought 9 arrows. I'm out. Like, why didn't you pull them out? Like, oh, that's nasty. Like, it worked. So I'm getting myself excited. I mean, but. You're right, Alexander. This thing could have opened the door to so many things. It could have opened the door to making the show just phenomenal, even more than like just making that like taking it to another level. It could open the door to just so much stuff. I mean, they're introducing the Miracles, which are AKA the mutants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of them they could actually use without getting in trouble, but there's.
I think they can only use.
I'm not sure if there's anything else you guys want to talk about.
I actually want to.
There were a lot of mutants that were.
Okay, well, something I think we're okay. I'll just talk anyway. I think one thing I want to bring up, non-Marvel related. I don't know if any of you guys caught this, but did you see what Nick Fury's tombstone said at the end?
No, I don't think I read it. What did it? I didn't read it.
It said Nick Fury, the path of a righteous man.
What's that about?
Fiction?
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
That was a Pulp Fiction reference.
That was clever, yeah.
Oh wow! I did not get that at all.
Yeah, I didn't notice it the first time, and then somebody told me, did you see what Nick Fury's tombstone said? So when I went to see the movie again, I kept my eyes open, and it said, yeah, following the path of a righteous man.
I didn't get that the first time.
Good.
That's actually interesting. So what did you guys think of the whole Bucky at the end looking at his his thing where he's reading about himself as
how did he get that metal arm past the metal detectors?
That's a good question.
I thought that the end credit scene was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I already got the really cool one with the twins, which is awesome. Yeah, the guy that was talking, I don't know if any people knew who that guy was, but who was it? What's his name?
Baron von.
Yeah,
Baron von Wolfgang Strucker. I'm very excited
which becomes what's his actual name? His comic. Damn it!
No, that is him. That is his name. That's who he is. He's connected to Baron Zemo though.
Oh.
He's above Baron Zemo. Yeah, Von Strucker he's his own character. Baron Zemo gets connected to it.
Oh, okay, so that's what it is. He clearly couldn't be the way he looked in the comic. That would have been fucking too bad, but like that would have been insane. But like, oh man, like this movie. I think that this movie is up there for me with The Dark Knight and maybe surpass
I think Steven just is like glitching.
Yeah.
Avengers for me was because of the door, like the windows, doors. That it the way that Shield is gone. Like there's. Oh yeah, if I get disconnected, I'm sorry. My network is like acting really shitty. It says your network connection is experiencing difficulties.
Okay, round 2. Go say it again.
I forgot what I said. Oh no, I said that I love this. The reason I think I love this movie is because of the fact that the doors that it opens for everything else, and that's the reason I think I love the movie as much as I do, is because of the fact that it opens so many doors for what is going to happen in the future, and it gets me excited to what Feige, who is like a mastermind and clearly a fan of the source material, he has to be. He oversees everything. He's got to be a huge fan, and I'm just super excited about the future of this. I know we're not going to get a Marvel movie besides Guardians of the Galaxy for a year. I mean, one that will tie into this one. I don't think Guardians will tie into this at all. I don't believe.
I don't think it will either. I mean, like, this is pretty much the big Phase 2 finale until Age of Ultron, and Guardians just seems to be a little extra that we get.
I don't know. I'm still convinced Guardians is going to have a bigger part later down on the road when it comes to Cosmic Marvel. I think that's going to be the way they introduce characters like Thanos and maybe even the Skrulls and characters like Captain Marvel and a lot of maybe even the Inhumans.
I want Nova.
And Nova. I mean, that the Guardians of the Galaxy I think is going to be really important for getting those people involved.
Well, in Guardians of the Galaxy, they have the Nova Corps.
Yeah, but Richard Rider and Sam Alexander, those characters that people know. Because like the Nova Corps is basically the Marvel version of the Green Lantern Corps, and there's like thousands of Green Lanterns, but you only know the few that we care. Yeah.
They're practically Shield for space.
I would call Sword is really the Shield of space.
Which is, once again, Marvel going to DC, here's how you do a cosmic movie. Listen to us.
Let's see if it works first. Maybe the movie will suck. I don't know.
Well, I mean, 9 movies in, well, I'm only speaking for myself, but 9 movies in and none of them really bad. At least in my opinion, again. I'm sort of complete faith in...
Whoa, when your worst movie is Iron Man, and to me that's better than Man of Steel, then yeah, I'm guessing...
Wait, you didn't like the first Iron Man?
I mean
Iron Man 2. I mean Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is probably your worst. Probably, I'm guessing, of the Marvel 9.
For me, it's Thor: The Dark World, which I like, but it's not...
What?
I still like Thor: The Dark World. It's just not... I guess I was underwhelmed.
The worst part of Thor: The Dark World is Natalie Portman.
Yeah, that was the first movie where I finally understood why the love between the two characters just doesn't work in the movies, at least.
The only thing is, right, that I feel that the way that the Guardians can tie into the other cinematic Marvel movies is the the thing that Loki's staff that they find or his weapon, the scepter. That to me and to I guess some people there's an Infinity Gem in there, I think.
That's what people are. That's what I've heard, and that scepter was given to Loki by the other.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, there can be a secret thing at the end of Guardians where we see them or Loki going after that, because Loki, of course, is alive still, and we also could have the Guardians going after that, and we don't know. That can be the way that they tie them in. I mean, we all know that Star-Lord is human.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
I think Loki's too busy ruling Asgard as Odin.
I mean, he's got to be in something else. I mean, would he just not appear until what? He doesn't have his own movie.
if they do a Thor...
Yeah, but what would be so wrong about keeping certain characters to only those franchises? I mean, there's so many big villains you can use for the Marvel movies.
Well, the way that I look at it is that Loki and Tom Hiddleston are so big right now that I don't think they will do that. I think they will use that guy everywhere. Women love that dude.
But see,
Like,
then that to me then is a bad decision on Marvel Studios' part, because you should never sacrifice the quality of the villains you use for the sake of, oh well, the young girls like Loki. Like,
they already did that.
I don't know anyone like that who's like, I hope Loki's in every single Avengers movie, every single thing that has to do with everything. If Loki, you've got like Thanos in the waiting, you've got Ultron coming up. Loki has nothing to do with these people. Like, I want him to stay in the Thor franchise, unless of course there is a situation that arises in the story that makes sense for him to be a part of it.
The reason I say it is because, like, when that guy does an interview, there's so many chicks that lose their brain. Like, they lose their shit. Like,
right. Well, I mean, with Loki at the end of Thor: The Dark World, I see that as a setup for what Thor 3 could end up being.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's what it is? Well, they kept him. They rewrote the damn movie at the end to keep him alive. Everybody pretty much knows that.
And you got to think, going back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the episode where Sif comes in and she's after that Asgardian. She says that Sif says she was sent down by Odin to get her back, but we know that Odin is Loki.
Loki, yeah.
So there's going to be something's going to happen in Thor 3 involving Loki.
Yeah.
So he won't be in a movie for like 3 years probably.
Which is fine.
Well, I mean, I don't know how reliable this source is, but there was a source I read that there was a leak in what Phase 3 could be.
Okay.
Where it was Ant-Man.
I mean, by saying, like, Loki has to be in every movie, that's saying that most of the people that are going to see the Marvel movies are young women who have nothing else going in the movies but Loki.
I just think that they will have him appear in one of the upcoming movies at one point. Because I just don't see him not appearing in anything for, like, 3 years.
I think there's going to be a Thor 3 in Phase 3.
Yeah, that's
a tongue twister.
It's after. It's supposed to be a little bit before Captain America 3 as well.
I think it's gonna be after Captain America's third run.
So what I'm thinking is that's like, so you go through Guardians, you go through Ant-Man, you go through Avengers, you go through Cap 3, and then on the 5 movies from now is when you'll see Loki again. That seems like a long time. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind. I'm just saying, it just seems like a long time.
If you keep the people waiting, they'll
appreciate it more.
That's Marvel's logic to releasing these movies a week before us in the rest of the world. Because by releasing these movies in the rest of the world a week before America, we're just like chomping at the bits to get it.
I don't know. I still think it's silly that's even how it is. I don't know. Especially with Captain America.
I'll give you that silly. It works. It's a formula that I think works. And for Iron Man and Thor, I can let it slide. But for Captain America, it's sort of like the rest of the world gets to see Captain America before America does.
It's because of the fact that, like, they're able to make so much, like, more money.
Yeah.
Getting the hype up. Like, the reviews were so well for this, and they knew it, which is why I think they did it.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you think back to the Avengers, the rest of the world got to see it a week before America did, and once America got to see it, $200 million opening weekend.
Yeah, I think this is their plan. They'll do this. It'll get super buzz, super hyped, and then everybody would know. Everybody would be. They'll plan around it, and that's why it happened like that to me. But I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the movie, or what you guys think the future is gonna be, or should we get out of here?
I think I think I've exhausted all I can say about
yeah.
Captain America, except that I'm excited for the rest of the Marvel universe. And if the directors of You, Me, and Dupree made a badass Captain America movie, then I am never gonna question their director picks ever again.
Yeah, that's the insane thing. If you look at their resumes before this,
like they did, like the Russo brothers do fantastic work in TV, but their movies up until Winter Soldier have been
That's what well, actually, when I walked out of the theater and the person I was with, I actually said, I was like, man, these guys know how to, like, Marvel knows how to pick directors. They know how to get stars. Like, not even stars. They get quality actors to play their roles. I was like, they got Anthony Mackie, who's a great actor but really unknown. As Ant-Man, we got Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Therefore, Paul Rudd must have outacted whatever other stars were there. They could have gotten somebody even bigger than Paul Rudd.
And
Paul
Chris,
Rudd big
Chris Pratt is Star-Lord.
Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. Chris Pratt was a chubby, fat, like, comedy guy, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna be our star.
And he was a Lego.
Oh my, like, they're so. If this, like, it all to me goes back to Feige. He's so good at what he's doing. He's so good. I think he'll work his magic one day and get Spider-Man back. He'll trick Sony into signing some paperwork back. You guys want to pay the bill?
Someone made a joke saying that Disney should just buy Sony, and then let them go once they grab the rights to Spider-Man.
My brother said the same thing. My brother was like, can't they just buy Sony? Just buy it, then just do what you want with it.
Well, at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney does buy Sony.
Dude, at the rate that Disney's going, they're going to own everything.
They're going to rule the world, and it's going to be a better world to live in when you take into account let me start over. If you had to pick two corporations to rule the world, Disney or Walmart, I think we would prefer Disney.
Yeah. I definitely would. Which is something goes crazy. We talked for about over an hour about this, right? Or pretty close to an hour, and we didn't even mention what their Netflix cinematic universe is going to be introducing.
Oh, Daredevil.
I think I'm more excited for that than anything else, to be honest.
Like what they call them, street
level heroes.
The street level heroes.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even talked about those. Like, what's going to happen when they introduce that? That's going to be another world for the TV.
Well,
Marvel, they're doing everything right.
Well, basically, what they're doing, I think we all know that they're going to get Daredevil. Jessica Jones, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and they're gonna have their own series and then go into a Defenders miniseries.
Yes, but then Defenders movie. That's what right? That was the plan, or was it a miniseries?
I think it was a miniseries. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're doing such a great job of doing crossovers. We know that crossovers are going to happen with all those characters, plus the people that are already in the other. I mean, Marvel has got big-ass plans, man. We're talking huge. Disney and Marvel got plans galore. But we talked about Captain America as much as we possibly could. We all really love it. I gave it, like, a perfect score. It took me a while to find out something bad about it. Like, I didn't know anything bad besides the fact that there was no Winter Soldier that much in it, and that was my one negative. That was it. I didn't have any else negatives to say, so I love the movie. Alexander, you loved it as well. Jessica loved it. We all seem to like it a lot. Yeah, the only nitpicks I
guess I spoiled the problems I have, which are nitpicks, is there are a few times where the Russo brothers break the laws of physics.
Yeah.
But it's a nitpick. It's a nitpick considering how many times other directors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have broken the laws of physics. I did wish there were a few shots in the movie where the fight scenes were filmed too close, and
I thought that as well.
And I did wish for more Sharon Carter, but in my video review I gave it my highest rating.
So did I.
Which is to get off your ass and go see it now if you haven't.
I gave it a perfect score. I was like the reason I said in my review, I was like, I can't give this thing lower than a 5 because I gave Avengers and Batman and The Dark Knight a 5, and to me this is on par with both of those, and I can't give it anything lower than that. So, yeah. But all right, you guys can let people know where they can follow you on Twitter and all that good stuff. You can start, Alexander.
Okay, I guess I'll go. You can. My YouTube channel is The Cinemas with Mr. Robinson. Obviously, my latest review is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Links to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and now Tumblr accounts are up there. And yeah, that's basically all my info.
All right, Jessica, how about you?
You can just check out all my stuff, all my articles and things in the comic section of Geeked Out Nation. I got a few things coming out this weekend involving the 75th anniversary of Batman. And if you want, follow me at Camacho Jess on Twitter, and you'll get even more information there. Even more stuff, because I'm all over the place lately.
I should probably mention that I do write for Geeked Out Nation also.
You have a Noah review that just came up recently, which was very upsetting to me, but I won't get into that. I respect your review. I was just like, what? Your score? Damn it. But as always, guys, you guys could like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys thought of Captain America in the comments. Follow Geeked Out Nation on Twitter. Follow me. I have a Twitter account called Geeked Out Steven. It's very small. I just started it recently. The website, geekedoutnation.com. And hopefully you guys enjoy Captain America, the Winter Soldier as well. And if you guys do comment below, let us know what you guys think that the future of Marvel holds for everybody. So, all right, guys. Definitely thanks for listening to the special Spoilercast edition for the Movie Backlot podcast. And we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.